77, 78, 79. Welcome to Bad Influence. This week we're looking at football games, and we've got some of the country's top players in the studio with us to give us their opinion on the megabyte matches.
And that includes a preview of what could be the best Mega Drive football sim ever, FIFA International Soccer. Our main review is Lawnmower Man on the SNES.
And Z comes face to feeler with the smartest robot in the universe. But first, an item about a sadly neglected part of your game system, joysticks and joypads. Now, joysticks have been around for ages, but joypads are relatively new. They were launched in 1985. This one was the start of it all, the one that came with the NES. They both do basically the same thing. They let you control the game by sending signals to the console or computer that you're operating. The most common ones are called digital, and this is how they work. Now, don't try this yourself, because we found that if you take these apart, they're jolly hard to get back together again. This is the inside of a joystick, and as you can see, there are 4 switches here. And as you move the stick, left or right or up or down, it activates one of the switches. What about moving diagonally? Well, that's easy. If you move the stick diagonally, you can see that it activates 2 switches simultaneously, so the computer knows to move your sprite diagonally. Joypads work in exactly the same way. There are the 4 switches for up, down, left and right, although in the case of a joypad, there's no stick to move, just your thumb moving around on the D-pad.
This joystick's completely different to Andy's. It's called an analog joystick, and it works on entirely different principles. If I just leave myself cruising along there, I'll show you this one that's been taken apart. The bits to watch are these silver metal bits. Now, if I waggle the joystick around, remember how they move and where they move. This plate is normally up like this when the joystick's assembled. And if I take it down again, you'll see there's a black metal strip along here. And these silver bits rub along the black metal strip and register different voltages. And that's what sends the signal to the computer. Sounds complicated, but basically it works on the same lines as the volume control. Analog joysticks are more expensive than digital ones, but they are really good for flight sims and other games where you need smoothness of movement and accuracy.
Of course, for a shooting game, the ultimate accessory is something to really shoot with. This is the Mega Drive's version. It's called the Menacer. It works just like the remote control on your TV screen. It sends out infrared beams that are picked up by a detector that you plug into the console. You may have used one of these. You may have thought, what a great bit of new technology. But no, these things have been around a long time. This one is nearly 12 years old. It works with the Sinclair Spectrum, one of the very first home computers. They're good fun to play with, and the technology's really neat, but I still don't think that anybody's come up with a decent game.
And finally, squeak, squeak, there's the mouse. They usually come with computers and are really good for thinking games, like ones that you have to move a pointer around a screen and click on various icons or little pictures at the side. Now, if I take the top off, you'll see how it works. It's quite simple, really. As I move the mouse around the table, you can see that grey ball in the middle is moving around and moving against these 2 black rollers at the side, like that. And that's how the computer knows what to do.
And the controllers are getting more and more sophisticated. You can now get programmable joypads, like this one. These can store combinations of moves, so they're useful for beat-em-up games like Street Fighter 2. And flight sim joysticks are getting funky too. They range from things like this one, which is for like fighting games with the pop-up fire-button control cover, to this one, which is for more chug-along stuff like, I don't know, flying a 747 or something. Racing games have their own special controllers too. This is called the freewheel, and this has switches inside that detect your movement, and therefore how the car should respond on the screen. But the latest ones let you use your whole body. This one's called the Activator. It was tested by Z at a computer fair in January. It's just been launched in the States. It uses infrared beams to track your body movements. Mind you, I'm not sure Z's special moves are as frightening as Chun-Li's, are you?
Our main review this week is Lawnmower Man on the SNES, the game based on the film that made virtual reality the talking point of last year. The game can't offer you real VR, but it does boast 5 different styles of gameplay and a chance to pit your wits against the evil Lawnmower Man. You can choose to play Dr. Angelo or his assistant. Their VR experiments have gone horribly wrong and turned a mild-mannered gardener into a raving cyber monster. It's out on the Game Boy and Mega Drive early next year, and this is what the handheld version looks like. Here's Alex, though, with his views on the SNES game.
As film conversions go, this one's pretty good, and the different styles of gameplay really hold it together. There's some nice touches in this game. I mean, look at the way the car goes down there. This is level 1, the basic platform. You can shoot the dustbins and you collect things like bonuses on those CD data cards, and then you shoot the Lawnmower Man's henchmen, all these soldiers. What I've got to do on this level is fight my way through to the warp gate at the end. Access is denied at the moment, but if I shoot it, then I can go into the cyber world. Here I've walked through into a virtual world. What you've got to do is fly through the holes in the wall. It's quite hard though, because just one touch on the sides and you'll zap all the way back to the beginning. I think they could have put a bit more detail in. This is the level that really reminded me of the film. What I've done is I've moved into the computer to fight Joe face to face, as it were. I think this gameplay puts a little bit more variety into the game. This is one of my favourite levels. There's loads to do in this game, and the gameplay certainly varied, but the graphics are a bit basic.
This really didn't grab me. Great music, but the graphics aren't exciting.
I like this. I'd rather play the game than watch the film.
And so the final scores for Lawnmower Man. The girls gave it an average 3 out of 5. The boys won better, 4 out of 5.
Oh, hello, slimy furtlers. A lot of people ask me why they never see the fourth wall of the shed. They see this wall, and they see this wall, and they see this wall, but they never see that wall. So, I borrowed a video camera so I can show you what it looks like. But first, a quick cheat for Cal Ripken's baseball on the SNES. First of all, select a team, so San Francisco, yes. And then hold down L, R, and start. And all the players on your team will be an identical copy of the greatest baseball star who ever lived. Right, now time for the fourth wall. Here we go, then. There we are on the monitor. Interesting, eh? Right. There we go. Yes, there's some shelves there and some furtling equipment. And over here we've got, my other window. And my furtling jacket, yes.
I'm glad there's a fourth wall to keep him in. This week, Z's in Boston. He's gone to see a company called IS Robotics who make an entirely new sort of robot. He starts his report, though, in the Boston Computer Museum.
In the early days of robotics, scientists made robots in their own image and tried to copy some of the way we do things, like walking, for instance. The second generation of machines was simpler and designed to do one or more simple tasks very well, with no attempt to make them intelligent. But there is still no machine that knows what a 6-year-old knows. IS Robotics have been developing a different kind of robot, which looks more like an insect. Genghis has simple motivations, just like an ant. He walks until he meets an obstacle, then tries to overcome it. Although he may not be much to look at, Genghis 2 is one of the most intelligent robots ever built. His brain is made up of 4 computers, which control all of his functions, including the 12 precise motors in his 6 legs. He knows where he is in his environment from a battery of sensors. He can pick up changes in the heat field to know where people and animals are. He has infrared sensors to pinpoint solid objects, and there are force sensors on his legs, which tell him when he's pushing hard against something. Not forgetting this, which tells him when he's on the level. But this is the clever bit. Because Genghis knows better than to keep making the same mistake, if he meets an obstacle, he is programmed to try and get out of trouble.
If it senses obstacles within its antennas, it will reverse and go the other way. It can also sense objects with its legs. If a leg is stalled, on the next step, it will lift its leg higher, so it's able to climb over a higher obstacle. Then, if the leg is stalled more than twice in a row, it knows that the obstacle is too high to climb over, so it will reverse and try a different path.
Nero is Genghis's big brother. He's got more of everything and knows where he is even better. He knows if his feet are touching the ground or in the air, and exactly where in space they are. He carries this video camera and can pick up things with this manipulator system. So he goes a lot of places where either humans wouldn't want to go or couldn't get to at all.
IS Robotics would like to create autonomous robotic systems that can do things that humans shouldn't be doing. For example, going in and inspecting the welds in nuclear power plants.
This is one of the most inhospitable places in the solar system, the planet Venus. It's just the sort of place that needs robots, and that's why characters like Genghis 2 and Nero are the subject of so much research.
In 10 years' time, you might have similar but much smaller robots in your own home to run around and clean up after you. At least that's the plan, and it gets my vote. Now for this week's news and previews.
Another scoop for Bad Influence. Here are the first pickies of what will undoubtedly be the big release of '94. Eternal Champions on the Mega Drive promised to be more than a match for Street Fighter 2. The game features the 11 greatest fighters of all eternity who have one last chance to fight to regain the gift of life. Due out in February.
Blow away winter's icy chill with the strangely named Malibu Bikini Volleyball for the Lynx. You can choose from a range of sleek or hunky players. You can even hook up with another Lynx player for a head-to-head. It's out this month.
There's a stunning new 3D game coming out for the CDI. Kether features detailed graphics as you fly through 5 ancient temples, testing your reflexes and speed. Each temple holds a different test. As you'd expect, this CD game boasts brilliant music and loads of speech to really set the scene.
Hello again, slimy furtlers. To be brilliant at video games, you have to make sure that you eat the right kind of foodstuffs. I've done a lot of research into foods that help you play. For example, for stamina, to keep you going through 17 levels or more, eat sunflower seeds. For hand-eye coordination, you must eat at least once a day mung beans, but only those grown on the south side of the Acapulco Mountains. I discovered this little level cheat for Jungle Strike on the Mega Drive after eating diced Chinese beetroot. All you have to do is enter the password N4FHVRWT7FT, and then when you start the game, you'll be on level 9 and you'll have exactly 12 lives. And now, to achieve the maximum rate of fire, eat these. This is me without sprouts, like so. And this is me on sprout power.
And now for some more games reviews. This is a title sequence from Microcosm on the Mega CD, which we just had to show you because it looks so good. The story is set in the future on the planet Bodor. 2 big mining corporations are battling it out for control of this world, and the weaker one has resorted to underhand means. Using the latest micro-technology, their scientists have injected a super sophisticated set of control mechanisms into the body of the rival corporation's president, whose name is Corsby. With it so far? Your job is to enter this man's body and rid it of the deadly invasions. Here's Paul.
This is a really original game. Every level set in a different part of the body. As I go along, I've got to destroy all the mechanisms which the bad guys have implanted. The backgrounds are great, but the main sprite is not very good. Ah, great, here's a power-up, I can get it. Yes, I got it. Now I can use some of the different weapons. To me, all the levels look the same. And you can't go the way you want to go. You have to follow the computer route. It's not the most challenging game I've played, but it deserves 4 stars of great graphics and excellent gameplay.
This is a really good idea and the graphics are brilliant. It really looks as if you're inside someone's body.
A lot of thought and attention has gone into the graphics of this game. It looks fantastic and plays well too.
And the scores for Microcosm, both the girls and the boys gave it a macro 4 out of 5.
The Fidgets are 2 little mice called Frankie and Freddie who star in a new puzzle game for the Game Boy. They're trying to negotiate their way around a maze of sewers to reach their family. Here's Amanda.
If you're a fan of puzzle games, you'll really enjoy this. If not, it'll drive you completely mad. You're playing against the clock and time is incredibly tight. You can't just sit around wondering what to do next. Frankie is the big mouse who can jump, but Freddie can't, so Frankie has to get blocks for Freddie to jump from. The aim of the game is to find cheese, and both mice have to end the level together. I did enjoy playing this, but the time limit was definitely too tight. It spoils what could be a very good game.
This is a great puzzle game and you have to be really fast to get through the levels. There's no time to make any mistakes.
The graphics are fantastic and the game gives you a brilliant challenge.
And the scores for Fidgets. The girls gave it an excellent 4 out of 5, but the boys only an average score, 3 out of 5.
We're all big football fans here at Bad Influence. Yeah! So we decided to bring you our own league table of all the latest football games around. And we roped in some experts to help us check them out. First of all, Tony DeRigo, Leeds United and England player. You've been playing sensible soccer on the Mega Drive. What do you reckon?
It's a good game. It's a big hit on the Amiga, this game, and I can see why. The passing is very accurate. You can really swerve the ball.
Any bad points?
Yes, the on-screen timer, there actually isn't one, so you don't know how long you've got left to score that all-important equaliser.
Is it easy to get into?
It is easy to get into. I've enjoyed it, apart from the small bit on the screen, but that's a winner.
And what's your score?
I'm 1-0 up.
1-0 up. Well, it's a game of two halves, you know. Andy.
Brian Dean is one of the Leeds United strikers, so we've asked him to look at Striker for us, which is on the SNES. Welcome, Brian.
Andy.
What do you think?
It's quite a good game, actually. It's very playable, and there are quite a few options as well.
Is it realistic?
It's quite realistic. You know, when you're taking shots, you can swerve the ball, so, you know, it brings a little bit more fun into it.
But your favourite is the five-a-side option, isn't it?
That's right. There's an indoor option, five-a-side, which is very fast. You know, I really like that.
OK, so as far as Striker's concerned, thumbs up for the five-a-side game. That's Striker on the SNES. Let's move on, because you've also been looking at the modestly titled Manchester United Premier League champions on the Amiga. We shan't discuss football allegiance. Let's talk about the game. It's really two games in one, this, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. You've got the... oh, I've just scored.
Well done.
You've got the arcade version, and you've also got a management side of it.
So what's the object of the management game first?
The object is to take your team from the bottom of the 4th division into the Premier League.
Right.
And it's quite time-consuming, actually, but, you know, if you've got an afternoon to yourself, it can be quite enjoyable.
OK, what about the actual football sim itself?
The sprites are a little bit too blocky for me, you know, and also they're a little bit small.
Seems quite quick, though.
Yeah, it is.
OK, thanks very much.
Leeds full-back John Newsom's been looking at the latest Game Boy footy game, Goal. What do you think of it?
It's very hard to play, to be honest. You have difficulty to see the ball and the pitch because of the size of the screen.
Why does it keep flicking to different views like that?
That's when you kick the ball. A lot of the time it goes up in the air, and the angle of looking at the pitch changes, and it's really difficult to see where the ball's going to land.
Now, you're playing a two-player against Jonathan with this game link, and Jonathan's got his own cartridge.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Is that fun?
Yeah, it's a lot better than playing against a computer. I've never scored against a computer. At least when you play against each other, you know, you've got a bit of a chance. So.
Well, I'll give you a chance to play another footy game to have a go at scoring over on the SNES. This is virtual soccer. What did you think of this one?
This was very good, really. The picture spins around when you have a throw-in or a corner.
Right.
And it is a good game. It's just quite difficult to get into at first.
There are different viewpoints for the pitch as well, aren't there?
That's right. At the beginning of the game, there's a lot of menus where you can change the referee and the weather.
So what do you think overall?
It's good. It's hard to get into because it's very fast. So I think you need a lot of practice at it.
Yeah, and of course one benefit of this one is that you can use the multi-tap, which means that 4 people can play at once.
Another multi-tap game is the one everybody's talking about at the moment, which is FIFA International Soccer. Tony and I are playing England against America just at the moment, but we need a couple more players to make up our full international squad, so we'll get the lads in. Now, to understand who's controlling which, I'll just explain. The player nearest the ball is given a colour, and we all have a different colour. I'm yellow. Tony, which are you?
Right, I'm the red.
I'm blue.
And I'm purple.
All right, the expert's opinion. Tony, what do you think of FIFA?
Oh, it's a great game. The best I've played for sure. I mean, the graphics are superb, and this is where the goalkeeper does acrobatic saves. It's you know, a winner, this one, for sure.
It's pretty realistic, isn't it? It's very fast.
It is, it's fast, and they can do everything. You can swerve the ball, and there's a lot of options in the game as well, which is good.
OK, of all the games you've played this afternoon, which has been your favourite? Tony, we'll start with you.
Oh, no contest. This one's the winner, FIFA.
OK, Brian?
Definitely this one. Definitely.
John?
Yeah, definitely FIFA.
All right, well, lads, thanks very much indeed for coming in and playing the games for us and giving us the benefit of our expert opinions. So, thumbs up from the lads for FIFA International Soccer. But next week, it goes under the spotlight of our panel, and they give it a full review. If you want to read the data blast, set your video recorder going now. Last week's competition prize was a Game Gear with the Jungle Book game. The question was, who wrote the book upon which Jungle Book was based? And the answer is Rudyard Kipling. 10 runners-up get T-shirts. Your names are going across the screen now. Well done. But the winner is Simon Towns from Durham. Congratulations.
This week's competition prize is a Mega Drive and a copy of FIFA International Soccer. The question is, which team won the 1993 Women's Football Cup final? Phone in your answers on 0891 700 100. Calls will cost no more than 25p. Make sure you get permission from whoever pays the phone bill. Lines will close at midnight on Monday.
And remember, it's a game of two halves. Bye-bye.
I'm over the moon. See ya.